All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Ronan, I know I said I'd let you take the intro, but I'm going to go ahead and rock this, man. We're going to have an awesome episode here. It is NFT Live. We're bringing you the latest. Buffalo is not here today, so we're just going to run it. We're going to have me on the back end while I interview, as well as kind of riff with Ronan here. Ronan, what's going on, my man? How you doing today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Not much has been going on. You know, the NFT world has been blowing up as usual. Things have been pretty hot. Actually, right before we came live, I pointed out that there was some hot topic news that popped up, some breaking news. So Decentraland actually announced just about not even 30 minutes ago that they are going to be launching the Atari Retro Arcade inside Decentraland. You'll be able to hop in, you'll be able to buy some Atari wearables, and they'll have some actual live games that you can get in and actually play inside Decentraland. So that's some breaking news for you guys. That's just now happening. It actually goes live in about 12 minutes, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UST. So there's some breaking news for everybody.
Listen, guys, do not, while I just busted your headphones, do not leave to go to this Retro Arcade launch party. I've got the tweet up there. It says, join the launch of the Atari Retro Arcade, celebrate the official kickoff of the first game jam for 2021, and play classic Atari games. So that's going to be awesome. We're going to have, again, a great episode here. Who let the wolves out is going to be the mantra for the remaining part of the episode. Tolls just said it, because we have Wolves of Wall Street, Wolves Finance here. We're going to talk everything WOW's token. We're going to talk their upcoming sale on Monday that we are going to be a part of. It's going to be amazing. So I want to give a quick shout out to Wolves of Wall Street. They are sponsoring the episode, and we're working with their team to make sure that launch goes flawlessly. And we got that giveaway coming up too. But what's going on with you this week other than this game jam that just came through, man? What's your NFT life been like here over the past 7 days?
It's actually been pretty good, man. I was one of the lucky few who was able to get in on Bitcoin Origins on the first megabyte pack. So I actually ended up snagging 5 of those bad boys. I've done pretty decent. I sold the first one for a decent bit. I covered my costs. I made a little bit of money. I cracked a pack. That pack got me I don't even know what their rarities are called, but it got me kind of like a semi-rare. I think I sold that one. I flipped that one for like $90 or something. So, and then I've still got 3 1 megabytes left. And I think the last time I checked, they were selling for about 170, 175 bucks. So NFT wise, I'm doing pretty good. I was actually pretty surprised at how much money I was able to drum up. A couple of the NFTs that I had from the first drop, or not the first drop, the last Bitcoin Origins drop that have kind of been sitting, ended up selling as well. So yeah, it's been a really good week for me as far as like flipping NFTs goes. I haven't added anything really to my collection personally outside of I actually have a buddy who did a retro 1970s collectible card drop on Wax. And if you guys are interested, definitely go on Wax, go to the search function, search for WGM. So that stands for When Giants Meet. And they're really cool. They've got a super like vibe to them, man, that is really, reminiscent of those old cards. They fit perfectly on the Wax ecosystem. So I did pick up those, and I actually got #1 mint out of 500. So I'm really hyped.
Yeah, shout out to Jassy too. We talked with her last week. Shout out to that team. We're excited on what is coming to the Wax ecosystem, which we'll talk about here on the episode. As you guys can see over here, I've got the Wolves of Wall Street .finance pulled up, and we're going to talk a lot about what they've got going on today. But let me go through the episode real quick, okay? So we've got Axie. They I think broke the record for an NFT sale with a 1.5 million that we're going to get into. That was like a bundle of estates, a bundle of parcels. Bitsky is relaunching as a Shopify for NFTs. We got Matic rebranding as Polygon. That was big news, man. They got the rebrand pump that they saw. I could pull up that token price here, but Matic is rebranding as Polygon. They're going to continuously have kind of the same thing go on, but they're definitely leaning into that rebrand. StreetFighter on Wax. We've got a little bit of TopShot news and Flow news, and then we got some Sandbox and Uplift, and then we're going to bring Tristan on. Then we're going to bring Garrett on to talk about what's happening here with Wolves of Wall Street. like I said, could not be more excited for that. Here on Monday, I believe the sale is. It's going to be around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. If I'm wrong, I'm sure we'll get the date and the time, or at least the time, correct by the end of the episode. So that is kind of the rundown here. But if you guys are here, please like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, it helps out the channel when you guys like. And if this is your first time here, listening to the best NFT show in the world, well, welcome in. We can't wait to get started. Oh, muted.
Yep. Yeah. So actually, before we break into like the hot topics, how about we talk about another breaking? So I just hit you on DM, and this actually comes from chat. So big ups to GB for pointing this out. He said, "Did we talk about Lindsay Lohan Rarible drop?"
Oh God.
So I just linked you to a Lindsay Lohan fucking NFT, dude. What world are we living in when Mike Shinoda is talking about NFTs, and then that's followed up by Lindsay Lohan dropping
100 ETH?
100 ETH, dude. Look, the highest bid is already $86,000 at 50 wrapped ETH. That's insane. That's insane. And it's a Photoshop filter, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna let the artwork speak for itself here and not say anything. I'm gonna hit these comments. We got 60 of you guys in the house. Appreciate everybody showing up here today for NFT Live. We are doing a giveaway when the Wolves team comes on as well, so stay tuned for that. Before we get started here with the episode, shout out to Lindsay Lohan. First of all, great story that you just dropped. But shout out to the guys in the chat too. We got Mass Mage in the chat. We got XPlow. Though it looks like the Wolfpack is here in the house. Adam King. I don't know if you want to hit any specific ones. It looks like Flint Savage was first. So give a big shout out to him before we get started on this episode. You see any comments you want to hit?
Yeah, what's going on? Overman, Orlando, aloha, brother. It's always good to see you. Ballas, what's going up, brother? Who else we got in here? Rajiv, Manny, Artie Trader. I hope all you guys are having an excellent day. It's good to see you guys. I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so it's nice to be back in the saddle, man. I love talking about NFTs here on NFT Live. Super hype on that. If you guys are here for the first time, don't forget, the like button is there. If you hit that and hit the subscribe, it helps the channel out quite a bit. And you could even take that one step further, and you could share this on Twitter or Facebook or wherever you guys are hanging out, and you think that people would enjoy the content. Get some more people in chat and see if we can break that all-time high number. What was our last all-time high?
125.
125. That's such a like such a round number. Like we need to work that out.
Yeah, we need to get this. We really need to get this going, guys. 125, we can definitely beat. Okay, so this is the situation. I think we had Left House say, "What's going on, lads?" So Left House is in the house here, but we had someone come through. Left House was saying that Lohan has sick utility though. So not sure what the utility is. Maybe it gets you a invite only pass to Mykonos. I know she was doing some clubbing over there, so maybe post-corona, you can get in there via this NFT. All right, I'm going down a huge rabbit hole. So let's get started with this episode. Again, I believe in like 10 minutes after we fly through these hot topics, we'll have the Wolves guys on. Tristan will come on, and we can start diving into what they have going on with their platform, which is going to be an interesting mix of DeFi and NFTs. I love the combination. I love the synergy that you get in both of those industries when you combine those things, and we'll get the details here. But without further ado, we do have the Axi Infinity piece of news here. This comes from Play to Earn Online. Axi Infinity Genesis Estate selling for a record $1.5 million. I'm going to take you through the Play to Earn here, as well as a tweet by Axi itself. It looks like 888 ETH, Ronan, or $1.5 million went to Flying Falcon, or I guess the estates went to Flying Falcon, who purchased this off of I guess he purchased it off of a collector named Danny, who's involved in Hashmask and CryptoPunks. I'm not cool enough to know Danny on a first name basis here, but he seems to be a great collector if he's getting in on these estates here. But it looks like this is going to break the record for the most expensive NFT transaction. I know we've seen hundreds of thousands. We've seen kind of creep up to $1 million, and we just had a 1.5 million sales. So we kind of blew past that mark. A couple notes here from the actual article. Axi Infinity has seen big growth. Number of Axie holders increasing 740%, while monthly active users went up more than 3,000%. So a lot of really cool things. They haven't even introduced staking yet. The Axie token is doing super well. I know we talked to Jiho last week, so shout out to them. Really cool thing to see from their community.
Yeah, man. Dude, Axie's doing so much. So that's one of those projects I really wish I would have known about, like when I first got into the space. Because like I think I would have dove head first, man. I love all of everything, like being able to like put together the teams, have the different aspects, like be able to breed the land. Everything they're doing is excellent, man. I love the project. So with that, we're on to the next story. So what I've got up for you guys is the relaunch of Bitsky. So for anybody who's been in space for a little while, you probably have heard of Bitsky. Bitsky is basically a company that created an Ethereum wallet, and that's kind of been their niche. But they actually just relaunched, and they're kind of now calling themselves basically like the Shopify for NFTs. So what exactly does that mean? Basically what that means is the goal for Bitski is to make it extremely easy for anyone to implement the purchasing of NFTs on a website. So the idea here is that you sign up for a like a store, kind of like OpenSea has, and then you have the ability to basically implement some code onto your website and allow the checkout process of NFTs. And what's kind of cool about that is the fact that, you know, it allows you to bring in people who have no previous knowledge of the space. So, you know, there's pros and minuses with that, right? So right now, the only way to purchase anything on Bitsky is with a credit card. So you actually have to go in, you have to use a credit card to get Ethereum, and then use Ethereum to purchase the account that you want to use. Outside of that, though, I think it's an excellent project. You actually, right here, you can see, so for a creator, you need at least $50 a month to be able to get the storefront, the shared collection, the products, and then you can see kind of what the fees and everything are. Outside of that, you have some of the higher, tiers as well. I think, you know, this is exactly what we need to see, and we need to see a lot more of it happening, because accessibility and that user experience really is the primary friction point, right, to like super mass adoption. And I think that obviously companies like Nifty Gateway are approaching that, and NBA TopShot, right? Like that's why I really do feel like that's why their numbers are so big, right? Like they're super accessible by a wide range of people. So to see someone else kind of jump in there and say, hey, we can process credit cards just like any other, storefront, and it's NFTs, is kind of a big deal. These are becoming more and more accessible, and anyone who doesn't realize that this is changing, the way we interact with digital assets on a daily basis is going to get left in the dust, because this is the way. So it's really cool. It's a great project. Really looking forward to seeing what could they come up with next.
100%. And I'm looking at the cohorts now, so if you want to take us through that, but this is definitely giving me some Zora vibes. I know there's a lot of people coming into the space, flooding into the space, trying to figure out how can we make the barrier to mass adoption be lower. And it looks like, this definitely has the kind of vibe of, credit cards and things like that, where we're able to bring people in who aren't necessarily going to go down the rabbit hole of, connecting it to exchanges just to kind of get their tokens into the platform and then be able to use it. So
exactly. So the way the cohorts work is they are basically bringing artists in kind of groups, and they're calling them cohorts. So you can go to the website, you go up the top right-hand corner. It's going to say cohort number 1 has some people that we're very familiar with. Jonathan Wolf was involved, Ferocious, and a few others. You can go straight there. You can go straight to their online storefront and purchase those NFTs. Unfortunately, I think cohort 1 dropped yesterday, so most of them are probably sold out by now. I know I saw a $188 Ferocious, I think. I went to buy it this morning, and it was already sold out, and it was like a 50 edition. So that broke my heart. Eventually I will have a few piece because I need something from him in my collection.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Jonathan Wolf still has this fresh chicken. Doesn't look too bad. If you want to hop on that while we're live, man.
Dude, I love his work. I'm going straight over right now.
Awesome, man. Well, this is a great project, so definitely want to maybe potentially even get these guys on. Looks like they got a really cool front end, and I like what they're doing there. And obviously working with Ferocious is gonna net you some profits there, at least right now. So we got a bunch of people in the house. It looks like we're kind of inching closer to 65 here. It looks like we got some comments here. You use the word rabbit hole a lot. Yeah, I do. Matter of fact, it is my favorite word. We also have another comment about Lindsay Lohan. Listen, this Lindsay Lohan story just dropped. We don't have all the information. Yeah. A lot of this
My
stuff.
Bad. We missed the fact that it was for charity. Lindsay's doing something awesome for charity. We appreciate her coming to the space and shining some light onto it. Thanks, Lindsay.
GB's making sure we're kind of we got our I guess we got to make sure that we're going through all these stories succinctly as we bring them to you guys. So I appreciate that. I don't see any, like, is this going to be fully donated to charities? I need to see more information here. Lindsay's giving me some good vibes though coming into the space. So appreciate that. All right. So
I love that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I love that she says, here's my first digital collectible from which I shall donate to charities that accept Bitcoin to empower younger generations. But she's selling it on Ethereum.
Don't tell the Maxis that. All right, we're going to hit the next piece of story here. It looks like Matic is rebranding to Polygon. They've got a large thread here. I might be able to pull up some of the video. I'll put up probably 20 seconds of this video, go full screen here for you guys, but we can kind of jump into this. So it looks like Matic is moving fully, and they're announcing a bunch of advisors too. Look at, Ryan Adams on there. It looks like Sasal's on there. All right, here we go.
Our Matic network, and we are excited to announce that we are expanding our mission and becoming Polygon, the Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains. We started Matic in 2017 with a mission to make Ethereum infrastructure ready for mass adoption. And there's a lot we have done to accomplish this. We implemented two popular scaling architectures, Matic POS chain and
So
Plasma
you
chain.
kind of got the breakdown there. I'm not going to watch their fully animated video, but we're going to go through their tweets here. Obviously, Matic's been doing some interesting things. We saw Doki Doki move over. We saw, Avagachi have to move over. So from a user experience standpoint, for those of us that got into that Avagachi bridge and who have made it onto the Matic network, they've done a great job being able to kind of use that layer 2 and use the interoperability there. For what they have going on. So definitely interesting to see. And the token price, as we see with a lot of rebrands, the token price itself definitely popped off. You can see on CoinGecko, it's already seen here as Polygon, although the token ticker is still Matic. So I think a pump of about, I would say 100% over the past, since the announcement. And this probably was priced in a little bit as we can see people buying and buying and buying. So Polygon is going to be, what Matic was. They're going to continuously update us on that front. They made sure to say within this little tweet thread that nothing is changing from kind of their what they're offering. They're just saying with Polygon, Ethereum becomes a full-fledged multi-chain system akin to Polkadot, Cosmos, Avalanche, but with some other major upsides. So it looks like we'll continuously be following Matic, but they definitely made some good news over the past 6 months here.
Yep, absolutely. So next up, we have got the StreetFighter drop on Wax. So as most of you know, StreetFighter has been kind of teased for a couple of months now, and now we finally have a date. StreetFighter is dropping on the Wax network. It is going to be
with the
February
new digital
18th at 12 p.m. Eastern. And this is a cool project. They're bringing in some really cool mechanics. Basically, a lot of kind of the burn a bunch of cards to get a tier higher. That kind of thing, which basically they have just a ton of these options. And so you guys can go to obviously the waxcloudwallet.io to get all the information there specifically on how that's going to work. And yeah, so Street Fighter's coming, man. I'm hoping that maybe we can chat with Wax about this project because I think it looks kind of cool. Obviously, it's a huge IP. Getting something from Capcom onto the Wax platform is, in my opinion, a pretty big deal. And having the conversation pretty often about brands entering the space and what brands are going to enter the space. I mean, here's another example, right, of a huge brand getting involved in some way, shape, or fashion. So as always, we continue to grow, and that's kind of another IP on the horizon.
Yeah, they've been releasing special exclusive NFTs, I guess, throughout the week in, I guess, conjunction with the release that they're having later in the month. I believe, again, February 18th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. You can expect us to be doing a sale day for this one, 100%. But it looks like they're doing some free NFT drops in conjunction with that sale. So, yeah, it's always interesting to see Wax work with these big IPs because it's a little bit different than maybe Cogs going off on their own, utilizing the tech and utilizing everything that's been built out. Wax is actually like launching this with StreetFighter as opposed to kind of saying, hey, we're providing you these things. It's no, we're really working together here. So yeah, awesome stuff. A lot of good comments. I don't know if you want to get to any of these comments, Ronan. I'm going to go ahead and break out the next story and you can kind of hit that. I know we had Top Shot in the thumbnail, but we did have a bunch of different things go on from Flow. We do have this kind of announcement. It's a little bit under the radar. I don't even think Flow has kind of picked it up yet. But we do have Genies, which is going to be launching on the Flow blockchain, which essentially is like celebrity avatars. We've yet to. Okay, go ahead.
They're avatars. Straight up. So like the application for Genies. Okay, this is really cool. I'm kind of hype on
Blow
Genies.
my mind.
So I've actually, and we're gonna have a rep from Genies on the show. I've talked to them. They're super interested in coming on. It's just a matter of scheduling it. So what's really cool about Genies is that it's not an avatar. Obviously, they're promoting via these celebrity avatars. But what's cool is that it is going to be an application where you go in and you actually create your own avatar. And the hope there is eventually that avatar will be interoperable between the metaverses, right? And not only just metaverses, but game experiences, app experiences. They were even saying like, what if they, hypothetically partnered with like Apple, and now Genies is your Apple Game ID avatar, right? And the idea is that you accessorize your avatar just like wearables in the metaverse, except for they're targeting Louis Vuitton and Couture and all these like huge brands to come in, Nike, Adidas, like they're trying to bring in digital wearables on a massive scale, and it'll be an application. You will literally go in and like be able to update your stuff on your phone. I think it's an excellent project. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to. The lead is his name's Izzy, and he's a super passionate dude about NFTs in the space. So when they come on, it's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, then this is just another avenue, right, for celebrities to get into NFTs. I know, we've been running up next to social tokens for a little bit here and how they kind of synergize with NFTs. We're going to talk about a really awesome DeFi and NFT project. So a really awesome time to be in the space in all these various industries within crypto, to say the least. So yeah, again, this is going to be on Flow blockchain eventually. I'm with Piers though. Piers Kicks from Delphi. He's saying, do we have a non-paywalled link going? Because look, you click in, immediately hit with the old paywall there. So we can't really break down what's happening inside of the story, but for the most part, what we've heard is that Genies is going to be on the Flow blockchain, and we'll continuously follow the story and continuously follow Flow. From the NBA TopShot side, not much to report, right? We've got some updates. They did have something happen with their latest drop. They've been getting a lot of influx into the community. I do have an interview actually with Roham that's going to be dropping tomorrow. That is going to be the Layer 1 podcast, and you guys are going to be able to get like an hour's worth of Roham. Really awesome dude, really humble dude. So definitely go and check that out. He has a lot of interesting insights into how I wouldn't say the creator economy, but how creators are going to interact with fans, and that goes all the way up to players and athletes, right, that they're doing with the NBA TopShot right now. So $1.2 million in sales 6 months ago, that would be a big number. Right now, Flow's completely changed the game, and it's no longer a awesome number for them, but still, they're absolutely killing it. The amount of collectibles going through that marketplace is just bonkers. I think it's upwards of like 30 million in just a short amount of time here over the past month. So a lot of cool stuff coming from NBA TopShot. Want to give a quick shout out. Again, we'll talk with Roham. That episode will be dropping tomorrow. So the last story before we bring Wolves in here, we've got Uplift Art. What's going on with Uplift, man?
Yep. So Uplift is basically doing another promotion. They have a promotion coming up. It's called Te Amo Day. So the Te Amo event is going to be in 2 days, and that event is basically what they're doing is it's a fundraising event. Part of the money that they make will go to building a school in Haiti, which is kind of their primary project that they've been working on for a while. So the way it works is you have got basically 12 little micro events, right? And each of these events are going to last about 2 hours. And what you're going to do is you're going to be able to go in and buy a shard, basically. If you get all 12 shards of one of the specific items, right? There's a couple different items. There's the song fragments. Then you have the fragments of love, which are basically for an MP3. And then you have another one called the Greatest Love Story, which is basically one that is going to go out to the 21 highest paying participants over the 24 hours of that event. So basically you collect all these shards, you'd be able to put the shards together. Once you put the shards together, you create a new item, whether that's a song that you now have access to an MP3 or fragments of this poem, right? So and then obviously they've got some other ones. They've got a participation medal that'll go out that they're promising is actually going to have future utility and an experience that they're going to be building out that they're calling the Uplift Open World. So the one lucky person who spends the most during the event, essentially giving the most towards the charity, will get this one-time token and eventually be able to have a little bit of utility there. So another cool project. We really love what they're doing over there, man. Big up to Uplift Art and Mike and that whole team, Blue. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, they're doing some interesting things in their own Minecraft server as well that we'll be kind of getting some information out here over the next couple of weeks. All right, so we're going to have Tristan hop in from Wolves of Finance here. The last thing we'll do before he hops in, or at least while we wait for him to hop in, we will touch on some of these comments. It looks like a bunch of people went to that Atari event and were able to pick up some merch, but the merch cost them a little gas. So shout out to everybody that went on over there. What?
Can I say this real quick for all the people who don't play in Ethereum like often? Okay, like this isn't something crazy. You don't need to. It's not like time based, right? So put it in at like 100 less than slow GUI, and let it just sit, let it ride. I did that yesterday, and I literally put it in at half of what the slowest GUI was, and it only took about 8 or 9 minutes for it to process. So like some of these block processors are going in and kind of picking up the bottom every once in a while. So you can get away if you're not like super hard up to make sure you get it right. Put it a little lower than slow guy. Save yourself a little bit of money and save that for when you actually have to push a transaction through quickly. Tristan, what's going on, buddy?
How's it going?
Awesome. It's going all right. You just missed the part where Ronan called Guay, and it's an amazing conversation we're having on the end.
Well, I mean, yeah, people can't even pronounce GIFs or GIFs, so Guay, I mean, forget about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're here now. GIFs or GIF?
Well, GIFs. It's all forever. It's been GIF. It's not GIF. It's not Jiffy with a J. Yeah, definitely GIFs.
Interesting. Yes. Okay, so we do have some comments coming through from the stories that we were hitting. We will get to that after we have the Wolves team on here. But we're going to break down everything that you've got going on, man. You have a sale coming up here on Monday. What time Eastern is that on Monday? Just so I don't, run over my words.
You're going to give me Eastern time. I've got it pinned on UTC time, which is 2:30 p.m.
2:30 or 3:30?
2:30 UTC.
2:30 UTC. Interesting. Okay, we will have
9:30 a.m. Eastern.
9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. There we go, guys.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's like every time I got to hit the brow and figure out the time. We've got our team is across all time zones, so again, it's constantly like, God, what time is it for everyone? So,
okay, sounds good, man. Well, we've got 75 people in the house. As it continues to climb, we're going to be talking Wolves of Wall Street, everything you guys are doing with this DeFi NFT mashup. When you go into what's actually happening on this platform, you begin to realize how innovative you guys are being with a lot of the tools and primitives that you guys are experimenting with. But we need to give the people that explanation so they know what's going on. You guys do have that sale. So what is actually happening with Wolves of Wall Street? Take us through.
So, okay, there's lots to talk about, and I'm going to try and be succinct. Where we came about really is looking at DeFi, looking at NFTs, and really the DeFi space is getting saturated. The innovation is drying up, and I think, you know, the NFT side of things allowed us to really give a whole new kind of use case and innovation that we didn't think was possible, and we really brainstormed it, because essentially we were like, DeFi, what can we do with it? And we hit upon the gamification. You know, the gamification idea of DeFi, and how we can use NFTs to bring that together. So from there, that was really the rabbit hole that we went down, where we then said, okay, well, you know, we've got NFTs, but we also got SFTs, so semi-fungible tokens, and that really opens the doors to giving us all kinds of potential and use cases. But first, with the DeFi side of things, because it is important, because this is how we're going to start. The SFTs, that we'll call them the SFTs, because that's what they are for all our artwork. They will be divided up into the Wolves of Wall Street. So we've got Wolves and we've got the Boys. These are really two factions within the DeFi space. The Wolves represent stakers and the holders, and the Boys represent the stablecoin farmers. So within our DeFi protocol, these two factions are going to be unleashed and allow you to essentially use those characters as standalones. This is really the innovative part. You know, the DApp that we have isn't holding the contracts. It's essentially a blend between the contracts being wrapped within our SFTs. So that allows them to interact on their own. So you just add value to them, and then they can be interacting with DeFi protocols like Yearn, and they can do that from your wallet. And the same goes for the staking. You'll be able to add value, and then they will be able to stake within your wallet, and they will go ahead and earn yield, as well as our native token, which is the WOWs token. So we will be generating APY from yield, and then we will be swapping that with the WOWs token to give a boosted APY straight off the bat. And from there on in, we start to look into the gamification. So we want to gamify that process. So we start looking at boosted pools, where you can, instead of just taking out your rewards, you can then put them into boosted pools to get 4 different levels of percentage of boosting. And then for the Wolves side of things, because we don't want them to be left out, because it will be the Boys that will first interact with the boosted pools. We'll have the Wolves coming in who'll be able to raid that pool. So all of a sudden, we've got the Boys and the Wolves competing against each other for boosted profits. So the Wolves will be raiding and the Boys will be defending. So that really gives quite a great initial playground of DeFi to be earning profit. And then within the actual SFTs, we're going to further the gamification by having different levels. So the different levels of SFTs will have different profit-making abilities. So you start with basic and you work your way all the way to level 4. Straight off the bat, you can buy them. You will have different profit-making ability. So all of a sudden, then obviously they'll have different rarities and different values, and so on and so forth. So, you know, that's just to start with.
Yeah, I've got the guidelines pulled up here as far as the pre-sale. You guys are looking to raise about 88 ETH. 50% of that will be put directly into that Uniswap liquidity pool after the pre-sale. How does the WOWs token work with the SFTs? Again, there's a lot to kind of digest here, but how exactly is the WOWs token being used right when they purchase it at pre-sale, and then, you know, as it continues and as the DApp launches later in the month?
Yeah, so absolutely. So the WOWs token is going to be underpinning the whole protocol. You will buy the WOWs token, and through that, you will then be able to buy the SFTs. So that is essentially the gateway. It's a closed loop of closed loop protocol. So it's self-generating. Profit from the purchase of SFTs is going to go back into the rewards pools. It's going to feed the system, and we're really looking. Again, one of the first things we're looking at the DeFi side of things is longevity. We want longevity. So rewards are going to be spanned out over 3 years, and it's going to be fed by purchases specifically. And really, that's the thing. The NFTs just on their own give so much more layers of profitability, because just by holding that, you'll be gaining value through rarity. But it's also going to be helping the system, it's going to be helping the protocol, and it's going to be ensuring longevity of the whole project.
Very cool, very cool. I'm super interested in the gamification aspect of kind of essentially taking like the two clans, if you will, right, the wolves and the boys, and kind of pitting them against each other in what you kind of call like a raid, right? So what does that look like for a player? Like if I'm coming in, I'm kind of top level, I don't know a lot about DeFi. So let's say, I come in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a boy, right? Like, what does that look like for me? Am I going to a web interface and I'm kind of selecting, I'm going to defend, and my defense is based on, what rarity SFT I own, or how much I have in my pool, or how exactly does that work?
So it's gonna be based on a couple of factors. We're gonna have a probability factor built into the SFTs, but we also got to look into the raiding, because the raiding is really the wolves are going to have probably a little more fun, because they're going to be on the attack. So it's a very much proactive stance that they have, and they will be able to, like you said, have the UE. They'll go onto the DApp. They'll be able to go into a raid mode. And from there, they will be able to proactively raid. So they'll be pressing the raid button, but it's not unlimited. There'll be either a time limit, or it will be down to kind of raid energy. So the idea there is not something that you can just hammer the keyboard and just raid forever. It's going to be time limit and raid energy. So that's going to limit the amount of time you can raid. On the boys side of things, it's going to be, because the boys are the characterization, they are the more stable. That's why they're the stable coin. They're looking at just steady profit. They're not looking to be super edgy like the wolves, and that's kind of how we characterize it. So their probability is based on defense, and so that it'll be more of a static probability defending their profits that they're generating, which is why they get the booster pool. So it's kind of, they put their profit in there, they can let it accumulate, but they have to be aware that they could be open to be raided, and depending on what level of boy they have will depend on how well they can defend the booster pool profits. So really they're there as the guard dogs of the booster pool, and the wolves will be coming in and raiding it. So it's just creates a fun thing there.
Yeah, I love the gamification of the yield farming, man. So what's the timeline look like? Take me through the roadmap of after the sale, how long is it going to take before we get that gamification aspect? Is it literally 24 hours? Is it a week? Is it when the DApp launches at the end of the month? Or when can we expect that gamified model on some type of roadmap?
So how we're going to do it, it's a very granular kind of roadmap, because we want to keep interest going from the get-go, but we also don't want to chuck everything at once. So we're going to do the pre-sale, and then we are going to have straight away, we're just going to have some standard liquidity pool staking. So this isn't going to be the gamified aspect of it, but it's going to allow people to stake their tokens and start basically earning APY from that. From there on in, we're going to launch the actual DApp, which will allow then, it's essentially going to be the purchasing of the first two levels of our SFT. First off, it's staking, just purely staking tokens. Then we're going to launch the DApp. They're going to be able to purchase their SFTs. So that will be really hitting the NFT market of just purely collectible artworks. And obviously we've put a ton of work into that side of things, and I know on our website we have, our level 1, which is, a 3D video NFT. So that's really cool. And we're looking at really kind of pushing that to the different levels. So after that, we will then be launching the farming, which then gets into being able to take your wolves and take your boys and put them in and interact with the yearn and the staking pools. So that will then be the next stage. And after that, we're going to bring in the gamification, which will be raiding and the booster pools, because, people have got to start accumulating their profits, and it makes sense to then roll that out after. So we would look probably about 1 month from now to start doing the actual interaction with our DApp, which is going to be the staking and farming. And then after that, we're probably rolling about 2-3 weeks for the gamification. And then we start turbocharging it, because that's actually when the fun starts after that.
Yeah, awesome. One of the reasons why I like doing this live is because we get to ask a bunch of questions. So my fault for stepping in front of you, Rona, but we do have a ton of questions.
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, I do have one before we jump into those, though, because I did see those and they're really great questions. But I am curious. So, is there any point where I get that we've got the option of the SFTs, right? Is there going to be a point where you guys implement any aspect of being able to earn NFTs through your platform? So like, will you roll out something similar to like Meme, where you can maybe go into a specific pool or something like that and be earning for a specific prize? Do you have like, what is the NFT aspect beyond your SFTs that kind of store your value and kind of are these crypto folios, right?
Yeah, so I mean, that's again, like you said, there are just so many different vectors of kind of creativity around NFTs, and we've got so many. And I think the real idea, and like you said, you really hit it, and this is why we need to crack on with it, is the idea that these SFTs will actually become crypto folios. So we kind of coined this idea because they will be able to firstly contain contracts, and from there on in, that ability of wrapping contracts will essentially open up the door to wrap other NFTs. So whilst they won't be specifically, as of yet, we won't be looking at earning NFTs. However, we've got so many avenues we can do. We could easily build that in. It will primarily first, because there's so many people with different NFTs. One of the key things, we're like, great, well, let's just, instead of having, as well as having portfolios of DeFi and DeFi contracts, we can have portfolios of NFTs. So people can curate their NFTs, put them into our SFT, and then hold that as one entity and sell it as a curated portfolio. So it's suddenly opening up that idea of, okay, well, it's earning and it's a DeFi portfolio, but now it's a NFT art portfolio as well. And then from there on in, that crypto folio idea becomes something we can use that portfolio as a lending asset. We can use it to build out to allow even, I think our end goal is really to have tokenized real world assets. So it's the idea of portfolios leads us down that road where we can really just blow the lid off, kind of turbocharge NFTs essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to get to some of these questions here because we have a lot going through. So we're going to have to hit a lot of these. If we don't hit your questions, actually, we'll probably hit all of them. So let's just go with that. Speaking of the most important question, do you get a free sales lesson with Jordan Belfort with the purchase of the SFT, Tristan?
I know, that would be cool. I mean, we've got like marketing ideas, which we're not going to roll out. We're not going to kind of lift the lid on now, but anything like that where we've got the idea that we can create characters. Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's just open to be kind of pinged and get people interested and say, yeah, we're not holding back on asking everyone and anyone to get involved.
Gotcha.
It's going to boost out there.
Nice. Okay. So I do have one follow-up question, then we'll hit those questions. I know he's like, we got to get these questions.
I know.
I'm curious. I'm just curious, and this is yes or no. Can the SFTs be? Can you can I put like a group of NFTs in them and then add another NFT to it later, or do you create that? Okay, cool. That's it. What question you want?
That's it.
Perfect. Okay. I did see one of the questions in chat that I'm also curious, so we can knock one of those out, which is, how are you guys planning, or are you guys planning ahead for gas fee issues?
Yeah, I mean, it's a topic of the day, isn't it? I mean, hilariously, when we're looking at our actual pre-sale, we're having to constantly on a daily alter just the cap price and everything, just because ETH is going crazy. And yes, we are already looking at kind of, okay, what are the solutions, because if this really gets out of hand, and it's, I would say it probably is already getting out of hand, the ability to, move to a solution that's going to allow us and allow our customers to be able to buy without burning, so much gas and it costing so much. So we are looking at it, but it is obviously a bigger strategy that we have to really look, because there's so many different options. I mean, we are looking at different options there, and we've had quite a good few solutions given us, but we got to, it is one of our things and it's on our radar, absolutely. But we don't want to just jump in and rush. We want to look at it and build it into our roadmap. So that is something we're definitely looking at.
Yeah, is the idea to move to a layer 2 on the table? Is that like the conversations you guys are having, or is it more like, hey, we're gonna like just ride it out?
No, it's on the table, definitely.
Okay.
There's options, so we need to see what's going to work, because we don't want to hinder the development, but we've got to slip it into the roadmap and see how it's going to work.
It's amazing in crypto, man, that we're having the same conversations that we were having in 2017, with a lot of the projects that, we're trying to do things on Ethereum, and we're still kind of having the same issues today. Although it's gotten a little bit better. It definitely has gotten, I think it almost became unusable back in 2017, whereas right now it's just expensive. So
that's it.
Yeah. So I do want to hit this SFT portion where you're passively yield farming, right? Because there's no transaction that needs to occur essentially to actually yield with the SFTs and do things like this. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was just actually thinking, should we bring Garrett in? Because I think
bring Garrett
in, our lead dev. So I'm just going to ping him. Give me a sec.
While he does that, guys, anybody who is in chat, Garrett is the lead developer of the team. So if you guys have any questions that specifically would be ideal for someone with his knowledge, then definitely take advantage of him being here live with us to get those questions in. Again, Garrett is the lead developer, and there he is hopping in now.
Hey, guys.
Hey there, Garrett.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Great.
All right, well, we're going to start off grilling you on the tech here. So as far as the yield farming and how that occurs passively is kind of the discussion that we had. Obviously, you guys are leveraging the Wiren and some of the things going on with that. So for the maybe, I guess, like for the simple, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maybe the less experienced user, and then we can kind of make our way towards a more experienced DeFi user. How does the staking and how does the farming work with the SFTs themselves?
We're really focused on the interface. So you basically just send it value, any kind of value that our protocol supports. We'll start with some stable coins like DAI and USDT, as well as liquidity pool tokens. We just kind of send it and they accumulate. And because they're mini DAOs themselves, they know what to do with it.
Interesting. Can you break down kind of the actual like ability to leverage the Wiren protocols for those people that maybe aren't as experienced?
Sure, and there's really no secret. We're just calling them directly, basically wrapping them, and because it's all open source, all their source we can use ourselves. And so we're just repurposing their contracts, and our layer of innovation is really just this thin little bit of foam on the top.
Interesting. So break down the SFTs. I know Tristan was talking about how you can wrap a bunch of things within one SFT. I don't know. Can we go a little bit deeper on what that means and what that means to like an average user?
Sure. So SFT is semi-fungible token. The semi-fungible part refers to the fact that it is an NFT. It is non-fungible, but it also has fungible attributes. And so in our case, the value invested in it, like you deposit some DAI or USDT, and it becomes a fungible part of the non-fungible token. And so that's where the semi-fungibility comes in, because it's really both.
Wow, that's amazing to me. So is it essentially kind of, and I'm like the straight NFT guy here. So is it kind of like wrapped Ether or wrapped Bitcoin in a way?
So it's a little different because
okay.
With wrapped Ether, you're basically wrapping Ether in another ERC20 token. With the NFTs are wrapping the token. And so the tokens are wrapped by the NFT. It's not wrapping it. So it would be like wrapping it in an ERC20 token. This, you're wrapping it in the NFT, and that's the process of depositing into the NFT, the SFT, and having it accumulate value and do profit-seeking smart contract functionality.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool. I honestly think like so many people in the community have tried to get me into like all these different projects on the DeFi side and doing all this stuff. And I've just not really had a project that really interested me because I am more like visual and more focused on like the NFT side of things. But dude, I'm there 100%. I can't wait for Monday. This project, I'm really interested in it, and I love what you guys are doing, and I love like the innovation of having these SFTs. Now, one thing that I don't think that we did touch on, kind of grazed over, I think, in conversation, and I'm curious about is there was a mention of kind of upgrading your performance, right? So what does that look like exactly? Like, when you say upgrade your performance, are you upgrading the SFT itself? And if so, like, how does that work?
Well, upgrades are really a question of game mechanics. And our goal is to expand on these mechanics in multiple different ways. One of the options we've come across is upgrades, because upgrades are a very familiar concept to a lot of people. So that's probably where we'll start. But because smart contracts, they're Turing complete, you could do any computation with them. Basically, all possible game mechanics are on the table.
Wow. Okay. Very cool.
So we saw Wirearn have some exploits over the past week. We saw, I think, their version 1 pools. Is there any like risk to your guys' platform when something like that happens with Wirearn? I know that I'm not saying that that's going to happen frequently, right? Well, Wi-Fi, does a lot of really great things. Is there like some type of risk that is associated with effectively using their strategies?
So that's a great question.
Actually, can I just sorry, mate. Can I just jump in because I'm not sure. Just I'll cover it and then you can back do your tech bit. But yeah, we've got basic contacts with primarily with Cover. So Cover DeFi project is specifically looking at insuring DeFi projects. So we'll be integrating with Cover. So that will basically minimize our contracts. And what they're doing is so cool because they're developing the idea that it's not just going to be one contract, because we're dealing with multiple contracts. We're dealing with Wirearn contracts, and obviously we've got our own contracts. And if the vulnerability comes over on the Wirearn side, their strategy will allow us and allow the user to split essentially the insurance dependent on what contract has had a vulnerability if it occurs. So that you can actually, split your insurance and make sure you're covered. Because traditionally, if you have a protocol that's integrating with another protocol that has the vulnerability, but you're affected, you wouldn't be covered. But this is what they're developing. So we're super, super happy to be working with those guys. So it's, again, that's a great side that's gonna really help our users, I think. And also, so Garrett.
Right, and so the way that the cover is probably going to work, we're still hashing out the details, but basically our SFTs are wrapping a Wirearn contract, and you can send the SFT around and that contract goes with it. Well, there's no reason you can't do the same thing with a cover policy, where the NFT can contain the policy itself. So you don't go to an insurance website and search for a policy and pay for it. It becomes integrated into the SFT itself, just like Wirearn is integrated into the SFT itself.
Man, you guys are super meta with a lot of this stuff, and it's really awesome to hear from the horse's mouth what you guys are innovating on, because it just I guess it's just blowing our minds, because we haven't got to that point where a lot of these things have become standard within the industry. We've heard that you can wrap these different things within NFTs, but no one's actually gone out of their way and done a lot of these things yet. So, Garrett, I guess, we went through the entire kind of layout of what you guys are doing with Wolves. Is there something maybe we missed? I'm sure that you were following along. Is there something that maybe you want to talk about that we haven't touched on yet as far as it is related to the platform, or your most interesting aspect that maybe we didn't touch on?
So the whole time I was watching that, I just had tech running through my head. So if there's any tech questions that you guys have, I could bring those up.
I did see in chat, someone did have a question specifically. Masked Mage says, so would it be possible to add different tokens with yield and just let the NFT skyrocket in price as the interest farms gets bigger and bigger, or is he misinterpreting?
Tristan, do you want to take this one?
Would it be?
You go for it. You go for it. I thought it was going to be a tech.
Gotcha. So let me try to understand the question. It's if these NFTs are yielding, does that yield just keep growing and growing and growing?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. So that's, I mean, it's an exponential. APY is an exponential curve. And as it goes up, you compound, and the compound allows for that exponential growth to really skyrocket.
And and jumping on that, I think the idea as well is because your crowd are very NFT related. So the idea is what NFTs really do. It's the best of both worlds. You know, you're going to have rare artwork. They're going to be limited capped supplies of different limited characters. So those on their own are going to gain value. And you're going to have obviously favorite characters. You're going to have favorite teams, you know, with the Wolves and the Boys. You're going to have different, so you'll find different kind of value. I think even that the marketplace will decide, but that alone is going to just gain profit on its own. Then obviously with the integration of the DeFi side of things and the yearn and the yield, and then the boosted rewards, which again is another layer of that. And then you're going to have the upgradability of the different levels of the NFTs. That is just the DeFi space. And of course, we're bringing the use cases, which are going to roll it into the crypto folio. So it's going to be a crypto folio that has rarity, that has a YN contracts in it that are yield earning, boosted earning. Then you're going to be able to put NFTs in there of other protocols that are going to have value as well. And you're going to be able to curate that. And then from there on in, you're going to be able to build out with using that as assets for lending. And we're just going to keep rolling that concept out, because the crypto folio is pretty much opens the door to all kinds of wrapping and value. So it's really just snowballing the value.
Yeah, I like that Ronan brought up the interface portion early in the conversation that we're having, because this stuff strikes me as something that is going to be easier to understand when that interface is there, and you can actually go through the process of wrapping these things and then seeing that in real time, as opposed to kind of talking about it essentially. So I'm interested to how you guys are kind of combining, and like I feel like it definitely adds a layer of complexity to combine NFTs that also have DeFi aspects and vice versa. How does the DeFi portion affect maybe a lot of the primitives that we're used to understanding in NFTs, like supply? We're talking about mint numbers. How do those things factor in with Wolves of Wall Street? I know there was a couple questions on are there going to be packs, or are there going to be a limited cap on certain boys or wolves? How does that get affected, because they're also a DeFi like token essentially?
Well, this is it. I mean, we're going to allow, it's going to be the gateway to the DeFi protocol for sure, but we are going to have capped, because the different levels of the NFTs will allow you for different levels of profit making. So straight away, you're going to want to have better level of NFT, because that will perform better in the DeFi protocol. We also touched on the upgradability. We have the ability to gamify that element by being able to purchase upgrades. So you won't have to just swap out the whole NFT and buy another one. You can actually just upgrade the one you're playing with, as it were. So we are very much of the idea that the crypto folio is something you're going to stick with, and you're going to be able to just choose your character and upgrade it and improve it and allow it to perform better in the DeFi protocol. And again, the upgrades will go, okay, now that's giving me 75% profit rewards in the boosted pools, etc. So it's essentially it's almost like it's turbocharging NFTs, but it's also turbocharging the DeFi, because it's going to give you better DeFi profit. So the two just mesh together, and it's that just gives it that whole gamified element.
And one cool feature that I'm working on is automated upgrades. So you can think of like a mobile game. If you want to upgrade your tower, you go into the game and you click upgrade, and maybe there's some cost in gold coins. With ours, we want automated upgrades that happen after an elapsed time, say maybe like 2 weeks or a month. So if you wait that time, your token automatically upgrades by itself. And then the upgrades come in with the ability to purchase if you want it to go faster.
Wow.
Correct. Yeah, that's a great point as well. And like, there's so much going on that it's hard to touch on all the points. But yeah, that's absolutely a great point there, Garrett. That the time element of the upgradability is if you hold on to that SFT over time, it will upgrade itself. So the contract will upgrade itself, and suddenly it will start performing better. But if you want to speed that up and you can't wait, you can buy an upgrade when those are released, and then you're away as well.
Or you could go on the open market and buy the SFT that someone sat on for a little while.
Right.
Oh yeah, this is it. The cool thing is once someone starts really utilizing the SFT, it's going to become unique in itself. It's going to have different levels of profit making. Even if they started at the lowest level, it's going to have absolute unique functions that when you integrate it, when you kind of connect it with our DApp, is going to show you the upgrades that it has, the profit making ability, the time to automated upgrade. It's going to just basically come with all these things, and you're going to be like, okay, this is super rare in itself because someone spent time. And it's like gaming characters, in games, you add upgrades to it, and then now you can start selling game characters, and it's a similar idea. This is what we're doing.
I had this conversation with some people who were talking about NFTs, and we were talking about how long it was going to be before we saw upgradable NFTs to where, interacting with certain protocols or doing specific things would yield, stronger NFTs, for instance. And man, it's amazing to see that conversation took place less than a week ago, and here we are seeing that being put and implemented. This space is moving so fast, and to see yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm super excited about this project. I haven't been excited about this project since, my community knows Cogs probably, which I think is an excellent project. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been watching chat to see if there was any really interesting questions that we can kind of toss here in at the end. One thing that I saw was, can the wolves steal 100% of the pool during the raids? Is that a possibility, or is there kind of a stop loss there?
Well, so
I'll let Garrett.
The actual motivation for rating and boosting is, risk sharing, because each DeFi pillar that the SFT is able to perform, the boys doing stablecoin farming and the wolves doing staking, each of those is its own risk class. Mm-hmm. Neither of them have counterparty risk because it's DeFi, so you don't have to worry about anyone ever taking your money. With stablecoin, there's really not much risk involved. With staking, of course, there's market risk. And so normally in DeFi, you have to choose which risk profile you want to take on. Well, our rating and defense mechanic means that we can actually profit share between the two risk classes, so you're actually getting exposure to both risk classes at once.
Got it. Okay. Very cool.
That's the very technical idea, Christian. You can
No, it's cool. It's really cool. I'm raiding and defending, and you pin it with some good tech.
Garrett, we had the. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, there will never be 100% because it's always a give and take, a share. Because you could think of it taking 100% of the value, but what about taking 100% of the risk? And we want to share both the value and the risk.
Cool. Very cool. Dude, I'm hyped.
Yeah. We had the gas conversation before you showed up, Garrett. So I'm interested to see how, gas is affecting everything you're trying to implement here on the platform, and what your kind of thoughts are on the future for Wolves as we go forward, and maybe Ethereum becomes less usable. I don't want to say that because hopefully this is kind of where we're at, but maybe it does. So what's your thoughts there?
It's all about L2. So has anyone here heard of a project called TrueBit?
TrueBit.
It was a really popular protocol back in the day, 2017, that era. They had a lot of active development at that point. So TrueBit is a layer 2 protocol, and it's designed to have unlimited compute on a blockchain. they're thinking it was actually originally created for a Dogecoin bridge, because Dogecoin has a lot of complicated hashing that's really expensive to do on Ethereum. Well, if you can use TrueBit to magically accomplish this hashing, then you can do all sorts of cool, crazy stuff. And so just to break it down, when I say L2, I'm specifically referring to rollups, if you've heard that term before. And that's the idea where you do the computation off-chain and you post the results, or really a hash of the results, back on-chain. And so you have basically unlimited gas at that point. And I think L2 is the solution. That's why I was really big into contributing to TrueBit back in 2017, because even then I knew that we needed L2.
Awesome. Great answer to that question. The last question I really do have, I'm going through your guys' front end of your website here, and it says early supporters will not only earn WOWs before anyone else, they would be automatically participating in our NFT lottery. So what are the benefits here of, and I guess I'm putting this question toward you, Tristan, what are the benefits of getting in on the sale on Monday and kind of being an early supporter, if you will? I don't know how much you can say, how much you can't, but what are some benefits of being an early supporter here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. So straight off the bat, when you hit the pre-sale, you can directly from the pre-sale dApp go straight into liquidity automatically. So you just buy it and automatically generates your liquidity pool token, and that will start staking immediately from the pre-sale. So however long the pre-sale lasts, 3 days, whatever, you will just be staking. So that straight away starts generating you profit whilst everyone's thinking about whether to get involved or not. Brilliant. Then after that, if we can measure that you've been staking from the get-go, at launch, when we go on the Uniswap and we actually launch it public and start getting trading, we will then offer an incentive which will be NFT specific, that will essentially reward those that have staked from the beginning. So, it's from, and don't worry if you don't jump in on the pre-sale and don't provide liquidity pool, which you can just buy the tokens as it is. When we launch on Uniswap, you will then you'll be invited to the liquidity pool staking page as well. And from there on in, we'll be staking until we launch the actual dApp, where we will be doing the purchasing of SFTs effectively on our marketplace. So those that get involved with that liquidity pool staking will be rewarded, and it will be NFT related.
Very cool. Very cool. So I think kind of like the last question that I have directly before we kind of get into the giveaways and stuff that we have coming next, I think which would be a real way of kind of wrapping all this up is, so what does Monday look like at 9:30? Like how, or, for 2:30 your time. So like how do I, someone who really doesn't know much about the project, go and get my tokens?
So we will be essentially opening up the pre-sale dApp. So it's a bespoke dApp that we've developed. It interacts directly with our contract, which will automatically hold your tokens 50% and 50% to our marketing development wallet. But essentially, it'll have all the instructions. It's already designed, built, tested, and you just have to connect your wallet, press one of two buttons. One will be buy tokens, and one will be buy liquidity pool tokens, which will automatically do everything for you in just one press of the button. So it's super easy. There's instructions on the left. It looks beautiful. It will show you, the cap being reached. So we got a cap limit there. We'll show you that. It will also show you your breakdown. If you're staking, it will show you your earnings straight away. So that page will be your home base, and it just does it all for you. And it's very cool.
Yeah, we've got some questions coming through, as well as some hashtags that I want to get to in a second when we get to our giveaways. Are there any requirements for geographic location when it comes to this sale?
No, it's open doors.
Okay.
It's open doors.
Yeah. Anything said on this podcast is also not financial advice. I think we hit that early in the episode, but just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And on our you won't be able to purchase or do the liquidity pool without clicking the terms and conditions. So you do it. There is, we do the same. In DeFi, there is a certain amount of cover you've got to put in there.
Awesome. Okay, so we just hit 100 people that are watching this chat right now and in this conversation. So I think it's a great time to announce the winners. I do kind of want to break down the NFT that they're receiving. Right, we have 2 winners that participated in our competition on Twitter. One of them is going to receive $100 in WOWs, and then the other is going to receive an NFT reward. What specifically are they getting with that promotional NFT?
You're just going to get a super sexy NFT, and it's essentially our promo NFT. We have minted a set amount. Literally, it's 40 for the wolves and 40 for the boys, and that is the limit for this NFT. So it's essentially an intro to the 2 factions. It's very cool artwork that we pulled together. It shows essentially our characters. Some of our characters that we have that we're going to introduce individually as we launch the basic NFTs. And yeah, it's a very cool NFT. And once the giveaway has been done, people will be getting them for free. I think, is it appropriate now time to announce that once this is over, we will be launching our Rareable open marketplace where those other NFTs of the 40 can be bidded on. So I think the guys here are gonna share the link for that marketplace, and yeah, so that's going to be cool for people to just straight away getting involved. Now, Garrett has promised us that the idea, even on the most basic NFTs, once they interact with our DApp, they will essentially come to life and will be given some of these supercharged abilities without having to remint. Now, Garrett, do you want to jump in and just confirm that again?
Yeah. So what we are having on Rareable are just straightforward NFTs, not SFTs. So they don't carry any special functionality with them. However, when you bring them to our DApp, we can build functionality on top of that, and like Tristan said, make them come alive. So we can actually add functionality to these NFTs, even though they're just NFTs and nothing special, nothing technically special. We can still add so-called magic to them on our website.
Awesome. It looks like we have a lot of interest. Hillary is saying, cool, I'll be LPing then. Only 1 token to LP, right? Only ETH required. And I think Wolfpack is answering all those questions. But it looks like we have some interested individuals. Certainly a lot of the lads are DeFi and NFT enthusiasts. So this is going to be an interesting Monday coming up, and we're excited for your guys' launch. A couple more things. I know we're hitting them with a lot right now. So I'm going to go through the giveaway. Ronan, do you want to say that first name there that is the winner of $100 in WOWs?
Yeah. Yep. The winner of the 100 WOWs is, of course you give me the first one, Amorim Rocha. So at AMORIM ROCHA at Amorim Rocha. Congratulations, you've got 100 WOWs, and I'm super jealous.
Congrats.
And then the NFT reward is going to be Extra Tutos, EXTRA TUTOS. Now we've done giveaways in the past, and we've said who won, and then they don't get back to us. So a 24-hour period that you guys have to reach out to us. We'll hit you on Twitter as well. And if they don't get back to us, we'll open it back up. We also are doing another giveaway that's similar on Sunday. So keep your ears out for that. We have our own social token lads here that we use on the network. The lads, use that to rank up and get access to exclusive content and events. One thing I want to do right now, because I did see some cool hashtags come in, where I think it was Team Boys and Team Wolves. Let's see what side everyone's on here. So if you want to hashtag Team Wolves, hashtag Team Boys, and then whichever side wins, we'll choose one person to get about, what do you think, Ronan? 100 lads?
Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Let's get those hashtags rolling. Let's see what's going on. Otherwise, shout out to Mateen who's been working with us as well. Yeah. He's on behind the scenes there. So give him a great shout out.
Yeah, if I could just quickly, our team. So it's we got 2 devs. We've got Marcus and we've got Garrett. So we've got 2 great devs there. There's myself. We've got Mateen, is marketing. We've got Danny as well, who's also marketing, and he's going to be taking care of kind of the Asia market when we push it out to there. So yeah, we've got big plans for the marketing side of things, but there's 5 of us, and so yeah, we're really well covered, for everything. So it's exciting, and everyone's been working their ass off.
Looks like it. The project looks excellent. I love the webpage. I think the art is super cool. Thank you guys so much for coming on and being able to educate us, because I'm like, this sounds so cool, but I don't really understand it. And now I have a much deeper understanding. Right. And now I feel like, okay, now I've got it in my head, like how I'm going to approach this, what I plan on doing. So thank you very much for breaking that down. I will go ahead and throw it out to our community that I'll personally give a little extra incentive. So Tristan and the guys here, they've basically said, hey, we dropped a new announcement. We're going to be putting these NFTs up for sale immediately after the show is done. So the first 20 lads who get on Discord and shoot me a DM showing that you have purchased one of the Wolves of Wall Street NFTs on Rarible will get 20 lads directly from me paid out as soon as I receive that screenshot. Awesome, so there you guys go. You guys know I like to incentivize you guys in interacting with the people that we interact with. So 20 lads, first 20 lads who send it to me, DM on Discord, and I'm going to do it by the timestamp. So don't anybody get upset if you barely miss it, because I'm telling you now, you can purchase it and you get 20 lads. Send me the screenshot.
We're on fire today, man.
That's great.
Awesome. Great. Tristan, Garrett, this has been great. If you have anything else for the community out there, I think we'll handle most of these rewards, post episode. Obviously, we touch on a bunch of these giveaways. So just to make sure that we hit on everything, it looks like Team Wolves is definitely
by a landslide, dude.
Yeah.
I knew we were Wolves all up in here.
The boys, I've got it in for the boys. They're good, man. But I get it why the Wolves they got that edginess, so it's all good. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
But also, on one note as well, because there's so much information, we've got 3 solid Medium articles out there. Please check that out, because it breaks everything down. Everything we've been yammering on about, it's all there. Breakdown of the tokens, limit numbers, etc., all that jazz. Please check it out, because it's good info.
Awesome, guys. Well, this has been a great time. We will connect post-episode here so that we can get all the pieces rolling for these giveaways. And obviously, we'll still be in contact. We're going to be doing a sale day, actually. That's one thing we haven't mentioned. We are going to be doing a sale day for this on Monday.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited.
Brilliant. Thanks for having us as well. Thanks, guys, for checking in. And, check you soon, man.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks, Garrett.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
And I'll go ahead and throw that out there, guys. Like, if any of you had, any questions about how this is going to work, how it's going to play out, what you need to know, we are doing that sales day. I'm sure that we'll be kind of going live with a little bit of time to kind of sit down and break that down for you guys. I feel like I have a much better understanding, so I'll make sure I kind of add some bullet point notes for Monday's sales show. That way we can kind of educate everyone and help you guys to make that decision on how you're going to approach this project. I think it's an excellent project. I know you and I kind of touched base before, and I was like, dude, I'm looking at this and I feel like I'm really going to like it, but I need to get more info. Now that we've had the opportunity to talk to both Tristan and God, why is it Garrett? I think it's an excellent project. I really do. I am just as hype as I was for Cogs. So I'm ready for the sales day Monday.
Yeah, it struck me as a project that once someone got that light bulb kind of clicked of what they're trying to do, although it is a lot, once it clicks, you're like, oh crap, here we go. So we've got a lot coming up on the Layer 1 Crypto Network, man. We've got a lot of events. StreetFighter's dropping next week as well. We'll be announcing some things with them, but we are doing a lot here for Wolves as well. So we got some giveaways to get to. We've got some NFTs to kind of look through and make sure that we're getting it out. We do have that Team Wolves. We kind of back ourselves into a corner whenever we do this kind of stuff. So we will post episode go through and pick one winner randomly that we can then give out those 100 lads to. So and without further ado, I mean, we're just in a giving mood today. So I'm gonna drop our lads link for the rewards here as well. So have a day, NFT live. We killed it today, Ronan.
Dude, it was an excellent episode. I'm so glad to be back. It feels good to like just jump on and riff with you, dude. Obviously the guests were amazing. Chat was lit. We appreciate, dude. That was a lot of questions that were really good questions, and I'm really glad to see like some great questions popping up in chat. It helps kind of move the conversation along, and obviously it gives these guests who are coming on that kind of sense of actually like making some strides and accomplishments while they're here live. So thank you guys so much for asking those questions, interacting with the show. Don't forget, you do have that opportunity to cash in on 20 extra lads. The first 20 lads that show me essentially a receipt for picking up one of these NFTs. I know I'm going to go pick up one myself. I'm definitely picking up a Wolves NFT from Rareable. But yeah, so don't forget you can do that. Shoot me a DM. Buff is also letting us know and reminding us we are having a lads radio tomorrow right before Easy Street. So don't forget that, guys. Lads Radio is definitely one of those experiences that we have here on our Discord that is super exciting. It's super fun. People get really involved into it. The music is off the chain, and Buff does an excellent job there. So exciting times, man. We've got so much stuff going on. You guys have no idea. I don't know if the lads really understand what 2021 holds for our community, but I mean, what we've already done is huge. Big ups to the community for helping us with, game nights, helping us with poker nights. Man, XP has been blowing it up. We've got a poker night Saturday for anyone who does not know. So I think there's a cap of 75 people on that one. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's capped at 75. There's going to be a lot of NFTs. I think Horror's an interesting new NFT project as well. Loudmouth, I believe. Expo has been doing an absolutely great job. You need to be a recruit if you want to take part in these. $50 worth of ETH is for the final table as well. So that Expo has been doing an absolutely killer job there, and we're only trying to bring more and more of these events for lads and for high-level lads as well. So got a lot of things coming, like Ronan's saying. I mean, this was an amazing episode, man. We were dropping giveaways like they were freaking candy as well, so hopefully everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely. And to answer one last question before we dip out, Llama said, can he play both teams? Yeah, actually, the Wolfpack was in chat and they did confirm that you can actually play both the Wolves and the Boys. So you can pick up one of each SFT, play both sides, and kind of collect in both ways. But you also open yourself up to risk in both manners as well. So I'm learning a lot about DeFi today and Yearn and all this stuff that I had no clue about before. But I feel like now I can go back to Clubhouse and report back what I learned.
Boom. There we go. we got the education for Ronan. He is going to hit Clubhouse directly after this episode, I'm sure. Thank you guys so much. We hit 104, I believe, was what we capped out on. These have been amazing episodes, and the questions were fire. Like, I can't say it enough that the episodes would not be as good if we didn't have the comments that were coming through. Just by a factor of like 50%. Like, really, man. You guys make the episode so much better. And then Kieran saying, sir, I'm happy holding 5,000 lads just for the purple name. Yeah, hey, listen. It's cool. When somebody ranks up to get that different color, definitely appreciate seeing them. And this is only the beginning with the social token. So I know we've been saying that a lot, and we're definitely going to be acting on a lot of it too. So really cool to see everybody in chat today. I guess, Ronan, take us out, man.
Yep. So don't forget, we got Lives Radio tomorrow. Saturday we've got poker. We've got game night Friday night. We've got the Layer One podcast tomorrow. Friday Q is going to be here. So lots of stuff for all you guys, and you know how we mind blown, but you know what it is. It's our vibe and it's our tribe, and we'll see you guys later.